The sun has set by now. John sits at the wooden table. He observes as a few people are lighting some candles and torches around the fort. The men are gathered all around the wooden tables in the courtyard. Sam sits across the table from him. Most of the men are older. All of them seem over 50. It seems that all the young guys have been transferred to the front. Some of these men have bandages on them, from different bullet wounds, around their head, on their arms. It seems Allied commands decided to send some of the wounded here to still serve. Just how low on manpower are we? Sam breaks the silence, looking up at the stars.
I always love it down here. Look up there, John. It's beautiful.
John joins her in looking at the stars. The sky is lit up, like a painting.
No lights left on, no light pollution. Just us and this amazing universe above us.
Sam looks at John, with a hint of sadness in her eyes.
It's beautiful, but I guess we will never get to go out there now.
Chef and a few people are distributing the freshly cooked meat to everyone around the table. The deer meat has been chopped into small chunks and cooked over a fire. "We don't use electricity down here," Chef explains to John. "Saves us burning the fuel. We don't have much of that these days, but it's good to cook things the old-fashioned way," Chef says proudly.
I love eating under the candlelight.
Sam adds, "The whole castle is bathed in a beautiful orange glow, made even brighter by the darkness of night." Chef distributes an equal ration to each man. However, when he gets to John's plate, he places 2 extra pieces of meat. John looks at his plate in confusion. He turns to Chef as he moves on to the next man, and speaks up. "Chef, why have you given me extra rations?" Everyone looks to Chef. He looks back at John with a scared look on his face, as if he had done something wrong. "Well, I'm just following protocol, Commander," he explains. "The commander always gets extra rations." John looks around at all of his men, each of them with 4 pieces of meat on their plate, where John has 6. He turns to Chef and holds out his plate for him to take back the extra 2 pieces. "I'm sure Allied Command won't mind if I object to being given any more food than the men under my command." Chef hesitates and looks a little shocked. He looks around at the other men to confirm this is really happening and not some kind of test. "Oh, yes, of course." He takes back the extra 2 pieces and continues to distribute the food. John looks around the table. Sam chuckles. There are smiles on everyone's faces. John may have lost 2 pieces of meat, but this small act has gained him the respect of everyone at the table. Sam yells over the table to Chef.
Don't forget to save some for the guys on patrol.
"Of course, Sam," Chef says with a smile, as if he had forgotten. "I thought everyone was here," John questioned.
Mark and 2 other guys are out on patrol. They're not back yet.
She swallows a piece of meat, and then looks back at John with an excited look.
So this guy Mark, he does magic tricks with a deck of cards? I'll get him to show you when he gets back. Your mind will be blown,"
she says, gesturing with her hands. The table goes very quiet as people quickly eat their food. The moment doesn't last long. There are not particularly big rations. John looks around the table at the men. There are 16 of us here. A few of them are wounded, so they must have been to the front. "So, what's the situation like at the front?" John asks. The table somehow goes quieter than it was before. Like silent. The men all look around at each other, with doomed looks on their faces, not sure how to respond, or who should respond. John continues looking around at the men, expecting an answer. "Well, someone answer me." Chef speaks up, unable to look John in the eyes. "It's not good. The Karenites broke through the woodlands. Some of the combat units are trying to establish a second front line, but lots of people are falling back to Splendid. If Splendid falls, we're all doomed, he says morbidly. Silence fills the courtyard once again. Nothing but the sound of crickets and torches burning. A few moments pass. The unpleasant atmosphere is shattered as a loud scream thunders through the air. John jumps to attention, holding his hand over his revolver at his chest. Everyone looks towards the front gate. The sound is coming from outside the wall somewhere. Sam gasps.
That's Mark!
A man at the top of the gate is shining a flashlight over the wall. What do you see? John demands. Nothing, the man responds. It's coming from inside the woods. Already, a few men are armed and running towards the gate. Seal that gate, John screams at them. They look back at John, confused. The others are still out there, sir, one of the men questions. John replies intensely. Seal that gate. Now, he screams again. They do as he asks, not wanting to face John's wrath. They seal the wooden doors and put a thick wooden beam across it to make a strong barricade. That's no bear, John mutters to himself as he walks closer towards the gate, still with his hand over his revolver. John stands still for a moment and just listens. Silence again. What the hell are they up to out there? John turns to command his men. Everyone, take up your arms. Take up defensive positions around the fort, now! Everyone stands up and rushes to attention. Men run all around the base, running to different huts to grab their weapons. Some, already armed, running up the stairs to look over the gate. Sam runs over to John, her shotgun already in her hands.
John,
She says, sounding concerned.
what the hell? It's just the bear again. They might need our help out there.
John looks into her eyes intensely. There's no bear out there, Sam. We got movement, calls one of the men looking out from up top. People are coming out of the trees, the man yells, sounding confused. Suddenly, several bodies slam against the wooden wall and start bashing at the gate with their fists. The gate is shaking, but the beam is holding it in place. They're not people, John yells. They're zombies. Shoot them in the head. The man begins to open fire with his AK, firing single shots at the zombies below. John turns back to Sam, looking back at her with fear in his eyes. Sam, do we have anything we can use, like a bomb or anything? Sam pauses and thinks for a moment. Her eyes light up, as if a light bulb just appeared above her head.
We do have something. Stay right there, I'll go get it.
Sam rushes into the living quarters, where she apparently has something useful. I'm out! Yells the man, shouting from the wall. Apparently, about half a mag in an AK is about all you get down here. They must have been collecting a few bullets from everyone down here to keep the front going. Another scream yells out, this one from inside the base. A man runs out from the infirmary, screaming. It's Malcolm, the Scotsman. His eyes white. He stops and looks at John. John swiftly whips out his revolver and shoots Malcolm directly in the forehead. His head flies back as the bullet blows the brains out of the back of his head. That wasn't even a bite. How the hell did he get infected? John thinks to himself. Suddenly, everything goes silent for a moment. They stopped? One of the men near John mutters. A moment later, one loud crash is heard at the front of the gate. Shockingly, all of the zombies rammed the gate in unison. Another crash. These rams are far more effective than the individual ramming. Another ram, and pieces of wood start to splinter from the wooden beam at the door as it bends. Never has John been more afraid than in this moment right now. For the zombies to act with this level of organization. He can hear the sound of arms and bones snapping and breaking as the zombies ram the gates with so much force. It won't hold long.
Here!
Sam yells to John as she thrusts an IED into John's hands.
This might help! You can use my phone to detonate it!
She hands John her phone. John runs towards the gate to plant the IED. He stops when he's about halfway there, as one last ram hits and the large doors swing open, revealing the horde of zombies behind it. One zombie, in the middle at the front of the pack, stands out, its skin white and pale all over. It steps forward and looks directly at John. He looks oddly familiar. The bite marks around his body. He's larger than he remembers, but that bullet hole, the top right side of his skull is blown open. That gives it away. Ellis. John and Ellis pause and look at each other for a moment. Unlike the others, this zombie's eyes are red and full of rage. This one is clearly the leader of the pack. A deep voice emerges from Ellis. Where? Just as he speaks, all of the zombies behind him yell and swarm into the base. John drops his IED right there and breaks into an explosive sprint towards the stairs. Let's go, he yells at Sam as he brushes past her. Sam follows up the stairs. John looks back down from the top of the stairs to see the chaos. There are so many of them, and most of them he recognizes. The people from the hangars of his old base. The people he promised to protect. The people who he failed. He presses the button on his phone and detonates the IED. Zombies explode as blood and limbs go flying into the air. It kills several zombies, but amongst all the chaos, it makes little difference. Sam cocks her shotgun and takes aim towards the chaos. No, John says firmly, pushing her arm down. There are too many. We can't kill them all. We have to hide. They run into one of the rooms. Inside are 2 bunks where people have been sleeping. They spot a closet by the wall and go inside to hide.